let's see. So I've already told you guys about what essentially happened to me growing up, you know? My mom was tormented pretty much by these same entities to the point that she was pushed into the hands of drugs and, you know, such and such. And so she resorted to making a terrorist threat to my school, thus getting us pretty much taken from her. So initially, having been sent into a room at that age right before we got taken from her, that was traumatic in adolescent age, you know, to circumstances that were basically, you know, I mean, to do with an environment that was raising and producing children that were being given the freedom to be able to experiment at such a young age. So now that's the beginning road, you know. That just tells me initially how the devil attacked me in my life, you know. Initially, what the devil intended for the deviation of my life to be, and in some way he got his way. In another, you know, here we are still feigning like there's something that there is to avoid, or to perhaps not attempt to, you know, convey to another in a message. But the way I look at it is, like right now, I just came to the restroom. I just came to take a shit, you know, right before I go to bed, you know. But, you know, unfortunately, I wasn't able to necessarily just take a shit, you know. I sat here and I noticed that these entities started playing with my strongholds. You know, I already told you guys that they illuminate your mind and they'll, you know, attack your body. So while I'm sitting there taking a shit, they're literally holding, you know, that strength, that psychic, you know, because I told you guys how taking a shit is the first step into your psychic power, you know. I mean, that's how you somehow send the signals to actually like move muscles that cause something that we know in effect is basically, you know, relieving oneself. So I'm sitting there and I'm relieving myself, and I'm noticing that as I relieved myself, that the strength that usually subsides didn't subside, you know? So I'm sitting there literally like wondering like what the fuck is going on? Like these motherfuckers are literally like, I'm sitting there taking a shit and literally just with this sensation of basically a stronghold being in my root chakra. So you can imagine what they illuminated in my mind to have as a, you know, perspective or perception, because they're the ones who are leading my perception, you know. So I'm there just relieving myself, noting this strength, this sensation has not subsided, you know. So then I notice what they illuminated in my mind. You guys can all imagine to the degree of what it is that I'm sitting there picturing myself, you know, and what they're holding in thought. And right now they're just pushing to replay or even imagine again, you know.